It's your boy, amateur pro home chef Nathanael Levinson. On today's ingredient deep dive, we're going to be looking at oil. Taking an ingredient deep dive, diving in and looking at ingredients. So oil is a very important thing in cooking. It's basically, a couple of modes of transferring heat to a food ingredient. There's water, there's air, and then there's oil or fat, right? And there's a lot of oils out there, and it's important to know which ones are good for what things. So first of all, you have your standard neutral, what we call neutral oils. Neutral oils are flavorless and generally have a high smoke point. A smoke point is when it catches fire, right? So the higher the smoke point, the hotter you can heat up the oil before it catches fire. You start to get burning and acrid tasting. So you never want to bring the oil above the smoke point. So if you need it really ripping, roaring hot, you need to use an oil with a high smoke point. A couple examples of these. Peanut oil is very good. Avocado oil, also high smoke point. Safflower oil, and vegetable oil. Now, if you look on the ingredients list of vegetable oil, you'll find that it's exclusively soybean oil. So when it says vegetable oil, you can check the ingredients list, but it really means soybean oil. And these all have a very high smoke point, 400 to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Don't really know what that is in Celsius, even though I probably should. So these are going to be your go-to deep frying. You want these. High temperature searing. You want these. So anything that requires high heat, like a deep fry or a pan sear or a pan frying, you're going to want to use these hot temperature neutral oils. When it comes to just sautéing things, to cooking things like lower temperature, but still, high heat because you want Maillard reaction, you want to caramelize with sugars, and you want to add some flavor into the mix, obviously my go-to is going to be olive oil. Olive oil is, obviously, it's pressed from olive fruits. Olive is a fruit. And there's designations of extra virgin and things like that, and that has to do with, they press it multiple times, so if it's the first press, it's extra virgin, and then after that, it doesn't really matter. The really expensive stuff you generally don't want to cook with because it has a very strong flavor, and it also usually has a very low smoke point. But olive oil in general is very good for cooking. It's pretty healthy as far as oils go, and it imparts a great flavor. So I use this for anything that's not really high temperature, like frying or that I'm frying. If I'm just sautéing something or I want to add a little oil to something, to another recipe, I usually reach for olive oil. Butter is in a similar vein. Butter is not strictly speaking an oil, so it is mostly milk fat, but there's also water and solids and other things. You can get clarified butter where it's just the milk fat, but butter usually imparts like a nice nutty flavor, but it has a lower smoke point, so you need to be a little more careful with butter. But I love butter. I think butter is one of the best fats you can cook with. It's fantastic. You just need to be a little more careful with it. Now, you might see oils like sesame oil, walnut oil, things like that. These are what is known as finishing oils. You generally do not want to cook with them. Now, I know in super broccoli, I put sesame oil in the pan, and that's because we're cooking for such a low amount of time. There's not really any danger of burning the oil. But generally, a really strongly flavored oil like a sesame or a walnut or something like that, you will add at the end, like you'll drizzle it on at the end, like on your fried rice, you'll drizzle a little bit of sesame oil right at the end, just to get that aroma and kind of that flavor to imbue all of the food. But generally you don't want to cook with it because these have low smoke points and they can very easily burn, and burning oils taste acrid. So to recap, high heat, frying, deep frying, pan frying, neutral, avocado. Avocado is more expensive. I generally default to vegetable oil because it's about the same flash point as same smoke point as peanut oil, but it's about a third the cost. So soybean oil, good to go. Sautéing, medium heat cooking, I reach for olive oil and butter depending on what I'm doing, and then finishing oils depend on the application. Maybe drizzle a little bit of walnut oil over your pasta or something like that. But generally, you don't want to cook with these. So until next time, I'm your boy, amateur pro home chef Nathanael Levinson. I can't think of an oil pun.